Get ready for dictation. 5 seconds. Start. Mr. Chairman, sir, at the very outset, I think it is very unfair criticism to say that organized labor has achieved everything. It is true that there is a section of organized labor which now gets reasonable wages. But if you want to look at it from the point of view of living wages, I would say that it has not been achieved in many cases. The organized labor falls into various classes. The labor minister should catch on to what organized labor is. There is organized labor in large scale industries, in medium scale industries, in service sectors, and also in small scale industries. Unfortunately, it is the small scale laborers who are the most exploited. Many of them get even less than the minimum wage announced in the state, and the inspector under the Factories Act is often openly in collusion with many of these so called industries. A new trend is also visible. Instead of putting up a major investment in one place, industries are split into five or six smaller establishments. Each part of the production process is separated, and the total investment is shown as below the required threshold. In this way, industries escape obligations while still being able to exploit workers. It is high time the government lifted the wheel on such practices because real encouragement must go to genuine small scale industries, not those who misuse the system. The maximum exploitation of labor is often in the organized sector itself. It is relevant to bring to the notice of the government that in the unorganized arena, it is not sufficient merely to set up a national commission on rural labor. The demand for a strong central law has been voiced unanimously by all sides, and immediate steps should be taken to consult all concerned. It is, however, impossible to organize the unorganized labor fully. If the minister is under any illusion, it must be made clear that not even 1% of their membership can ever be assigned to rural agricultural labor. Labor is normally divided into two large categories, organized and unorganized. But in reality, there are at least two other categories, bonded labor and child labor. Both of these raise very serious concerns. The law is clear that children below 14 years should not work, but in practice, this has become irrelevant. In places like Sivakasi and in the BD industry, children are still employed widely. Parents often depend on the earnings of these children for survival. Even though the law exists on record, the state hesitates to act firmly. Many inspections have been reported, and inspectors often give reports that no children are employed. Yet, in reality, more than 80% of those working in certain industries happen to be below 14. It is understood between parents, employers, and inspectors that such reports are made for convenience. Publicly has been given, rehabilitation schemes have been announced, and even Doordarshan has shown programs. But when it comes to results as a grassroots, the figures remain almost insignificant. Only a few thousand bonded laborers have been rehabilitated, whereas lakhs remain outside. Substantial concentration is required in these two arenas, child labor and bonded labor, if we are to claim real progress. There is also contempt in the minds of some that organized laborers are living in high wage islands. Many members in this house feel that organized laborers enjoy better conditions compared to the vast unorganized sector. In other words, the benefits are not evenly distributed. Therefore, government policy must bridge this gap. Mr. Vice Chairman, sir, I must also point out that wheat procurement and distribution policies of the government have been marked by a stop go attitude, both in respect of governmental and private trade effort. Almost overnight, a decision was taken that government should take over the procurement of wheat through state agencies. However, the decision was taken without adequate homework. It is one thing to pass a resolution and quite another to implement it effectively. Our Prime Minister took a hard decision to modify this policy so that the objectives of procuring enough wheat for public distribution and for vulnerable sections could be met. But in practice, the policy was confined to only two states, Punjab and Haryana. The home state of the Prime Minister hardly contributed. Trade organizations also overpitched their claim to procure wheat. While wrong estimates by the government may be understandable, the errors made by trade organizations were extraordinary. Farmers in India are not merely traders but also keen observers. They quickly judged the situation and many set on stocks in the hope of larger gains. According to estimates, even today, 30 to 40% of the marketable surplus is yet to come into the market. This is only one side of the picture. On the other side, coarse grain production has been fairly satisfactory. With the removal of interstate restrictions, prices of these grains in deficit areas have been kept at reasonable levels. Thus, not only price but availability has been managed to some extent. Consumers therefore returned to their staple diet of coarse grains, which eased the pressure on the public distribution system. In conclusion, sir, whether it is labor or agriculture, the main challenge before us is to balance justice with the productivity. On the one hand, we must protect the most vulnerable child laborers, bonded workers, and small scale laborers who are exploited. On the other hand, we must ensure fair procurement policies that give farmers proper incentives without burdening consumers. The government must act with clarity, firmness, and foresight. Resolutions and promises are not enough. What is needed is effective action and results that touch the lives of the common people. Stop.